Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome back to the Tour de France 2020 Pro Team Career Mode with the TIJ Racing Team. And in today's episode we tackle the first of the mountain stages of this year's Tour de France. Now last time out we did the first stage, it was Nice-Moyen-Pays to Nice. It was 3 circuits, exactly the same, obviously the circuit is the same, but 3 third class climbs in which Michael Bierge went in the breakaway and got the most points. He got 5 points, Alligator got 4 points. Really, it was just to get us primed, really, for what's to come. Again, it's not going to mean anything, but it makes things a little bit more exciting for you guys in that stage, rather than just watching us in the peloton all the time. But we also finished 7th in the final sprint, which leaves us 6th in the points classification with Ben Swift. But because it was a flat stage, not too interesting. But today's stage is a mountain stage, a big one. For the general classification. We saw in my gameplay with the Team Ineos team when I first got the game that stage 2 was actually crucial for the outcome of the Tour de France. So even this early on, it could be decided whether you've got a chance or not. So without any further ado, let's go for the first mountain stage of the Tour de France. I'm very, very, very excited for this.
It's a day in the mountains. The finish isn't decided at the top of the climb, but the route is challenging, and it's an important day for the general classification. It's also important for the mountain standings. It's under threat from other riders, and it'll be important to keep an eye on them. The best solution is to pick up points to consolidate our jersey. We don't have what it takes to play a prominent role. If we want to make a showing, we'll have to join the early breakaway. Good luck, guys!
Hello and welcome to all. This second stage is already an important moment for the contenders for final victory. With 3 first category climbs, they'll have to show themselves. Otherwise, they'll start the tour with a crippling deficit.
So here we are then for the second stage of this year's Tour de France. It is very, very tough. But today, we're going to ride, at least for the start anyway, in the early breakaway with Tao Gegenhardt. Now, well, we'll listen to the sports director first.
There shouldn't be a major tussle there, but do watch out in the closing kilometres. They're ideal to blow the race apart.
So there you go, actually. The start of the race isn't too critical. So that's not too bad, I suppose. But, yeah, it's 3 first-class climbs there. It's going to be very, very tricky. And simply put, the reason we picked Gegenhardt is out of our 4 big contenders, Medouas, Quintana, Van Baal and Gegenhardt, Gegenhardt's the one in the best condition. So today we're going to go with Gegenhardt. I think that we've got a fair while, sort of 4 or 5 stages to keep our guys nice and cool in the peloton. Obviously, the likes of Marder, Bierge, Lawless and Swift are going to drop back today in the standings. That's just inevitable. But in the possible chance that a Barradour wins the stage, then we certainly have got a chance. Well, we've got the white jersey for the moment. It's not all that important, but the peloton hasn't persisted. I'm not really too surprised with that. Nobody that's too much of a big name in this early breakaway, so that's quite positive. I'm quite happy about that. But apparently the peloton started to come back. Well, that's not necessarily a thing that's happened just yet. But we've not had to put too much energy in for this early attack, so I'm quite happy about that. Energy is something that we'll definitely need to conserve today. We need to do 2 first-class climbs with 1 tank of the gel. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one today. We knew that before getting into it. But I'll probably see you guys either at the first sprint. Well, I will see you guys at the first sprint, actually. But nobody to really worry about for the sprinting classification. So I guess we might as well just go for it with Gegenhardt just to try and support Lawless and Swift in their goal to get the green jersey. Well, I've actually snuck back into the peloton because there's not that big a gap to the guys up front. And we're going to have to work excessively hard today. So just about getting that balance. I don't think the gap to those front 3 is going to be too important. That's going to come down, I would say, quite quickly. So it's just about being there and pouncing at the right time. But these breakaways are pretty worthless at the moment, using worthless amounts of energy. So, yeah, I think we're okay. I'm okay. But I think that the peloton might well just let this one go. Alligator, Clark, Hiver, Gallopin. I mean, I don't think there's anybody there who's going to be too much of a worry for the climbing classification. So I'm going to just hold fire again. Again, we don't want to go too early here. I'm just probably being a little bit hesitant because of what happened in my playthrough with Team Ineos. But it's looking okay. Again, the peloton's not completely far and away from the breakaway. So, again, I'm content at the moment. But we'll react, of course, when we need to, if so. But we might as well stay on board here. We'll get on board with, I was going to say Chris Swift there. That's like an amalgamation of Swift and Lawless. But we'll get on board with Swifty. try and take some points in this sprint. Obviously, try and get some points with Lawless as well. If everybody could get out of the way, that'd be nice. Lawless is well placed with us. Try and get some points. This is obviously the biggest part, really, of the day for Swift and Lawless. They can have a chill after this. Maximum 13 points on if we can catch these two guys ahead, which we should be able to. But Swifty's not too bad in the mountains. I mean, I can't see him doing anything in the first class mountains, but I guess you just never know. Be good to put a bit of a shift in here, see if we can catch the top three. You never know. I think we're a little bit too little too late. We need to watch our energy, of course, because we don't want to blow up before we get to the line. Just need to keep an eye on Lawless as well, obviously. Probably tell him to attack now, because we want him to get some points. Obviously, our main hope is Ben Swift, but we want Lawless there as a backup in case anything happens. There's Lawless. He's putting an attack in now. And we have been caught napping with Ben Swift slightly. The guys ahead aren't too bothered. It looks like Lawless has not really done much. We'll get at least 5th. Well, get on board quickly with Lawless. That's because he's ran out of energy. That's why he's slowed down. But Lawless will get 10th. That's not bad. I don't mind that, actually. Laws picks up 6 points. Ben Swift's actually in the breakaway. I'm not really interested in that. Just tell him to wait for the next group. But very good from Swift. Pretty decent from Lawless as well. I think Gegenhardt might have pushed there to get a few points. Not exactly desirable, but again, that's not too bad. So, a good sprint. But this is where it's going to get very, very tough now. But not too much of a big breakaway. So, again, this might not be such an important stage, but the outcome of this first climb is very much going to dictate what happens in the rest of the stage. So, let's see what happens. So, we now start the first big climb of the Tour de France, the Col de la Colman, apparently. The Colman is the reference to the ski resort that's at the top. So, this is a big climb. But we're nicely placed at the head of the peloton. I don't know why these two are going for it. Marder and Lawless, to be honest, not too bothered about those guys. They can sit back a little bit if they want, but we just need to take a bit of care here, because obviously there's quite a few of our guys who could drop back. There's none of the big guns making a show yet, so we just need to set a nice, gentle pace. Again, I don't know why Lawless is bombing it. I really don't. We're just going to, might as well tell our sprinters just to go smoothly. Ben Swift, Bierge, probably Marder as well. But just again, we don't need to set too much pace. Just stay in the peloton. Watch the energy of our guys. So long climb, it's not too bad actually. I think it's just towards the top, and it's the length of the climb, of course, which might make some of the guys suffer. But we're doing okay. Again, if anything dramatic happens, I'll let you know. But I think we should be okay, at least for the start of this climb. But the breakaway is starting to get away. Again, nobody crucial in that, so I'm not too worried at the moment. Everything's going okay at the moment, to be honest. There's 1 point available here, but I don't think it's worth pushing too much to get that. We just told our guys to persist smoothly, and to be honest, we've not had to use any of our feeds, so that might change in the next few kilometres. You can see the breakaway has gone massively away, but the key thing is there's 5 guys in that breakaway. Those guys are A, likely to lose that time in the rest of the stage, and B, even if they win by 4 minutes today, they're going to lose that time over the stage of the Tour de France anyway. You can see that one of the guys is coming back now, so it might be worth just with maybe Gegenhardt to go for it. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll just tell all of our guys to ensure a minimum tempo. If there's 2 points available, again, it's certainly a half decent chance. McCarthy's starting to drop back. I don't think he'll quite drop back in time for the top, but you know what? We've got plenty of energy. We might as well try and get a point or two here. There's no harm in it, is there? Using too much energy this early on. We'll recover it also as we come back down the climb. There's Jans Van, I presume. Jans Van Rensburg. Chavez takes the 10 points at the top. Well, that's amazing actually. We're still in the peloton with all our guys. There's a second group of 124, but I think it's just because the peloton can get quite spaced out on these climbs, so I don't think it's anything to worry about. So a pretty decent start for us. Again, I don't think we need to put too much energy in here. Seems nobody's really persisting, but if there's a chance to get 2 points, then I do beg the question of why the hell not go for it. So Sagan gets 8 points at the top. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Well, we've lost top spot at the climbs, but that's no problem at all. Yeah, I'm amazed. Really, I'm amazed at that Sagan's gone in the breakaway. He's traditionally a sprinter. He'll really struggle if he goes for that. But it looks like Gegenhardt's going to get 2 points. Again, I don't see the harm. Really don't see the harm. And just slow down now. We've got plenty enough of a gap. I don't know why the classification, by the way, is going 2, 3, 4, 1. But there you go. And there you go. Gegenhardt gets 2 points. Can't complain about that. All of our guys are in here. So we'll just... Don't protect anyone. Just... sorry, don't ride with anyone. Just protect our leaders. And yeah, that's not a bad climb. That's not anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be. I'm quite happy with that. And because the breakaway is now split into 4 segments, you could suppose say 5 with Gegenhardt, but we'll just join on the back of this peloton when we get to the bottom here. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think the breakaway will go all the way. Definitely not, because it is spaced out, as I've just said. But let's see what happens. But that first climb, navigated safely. I mean, again, it's one of those things. Your guys aren't tired, so it means the rest of the guys aren't tired. But I think it might be a later on in this stage where things kick off. It's going to be a different complexion to how I saw this play out the first time I played it. Okay, this is where I think it's going to get very tough. This is a long climb. The Col de Turini, a little bit tougher, and I think this is where everything's going to start to space out. But luckily, we have, of course, got a whole feed to use throughout this climb, so we should be okay as long as we manage things. I just don't think the best way to go, particularly in these early climbs, is to ride with one man. It's just best to fast forward. There's not really much you can do apart from just keep riding as the AI would anyway. We just want to make sure that everybody's okay. And the best way to do that is to go into team comm as we are and just check the energy levels. Obviously, we'll take feed as we need, as we deem necessary. Interestingly, there is a big group that's dropped back. It's great to see all of our 8 guys are still in this peloton, but I think that those gaps are going to start to diminish now with the front of the race, and also some of our guys will drop back. That's just inevitable. So we're about probably a third of the way into the climb, not quite halfway there yet. Marder is starting to struggle, so he might drop back off the back of the group, but we'll get him to take some feed. See how he gets on. Obviously, you can't take half a feed, so from the team comm, so you have to go on board with these guys to do that. So that's okay. He's alright for now. Meduas is our man in the best condition here. Having to ride hard, though, to keep up with the front runners. Marder's dropping back slightly. Just keep an eye on this. It's okay for the moment. Ooh, Marder is starting to struggle. So, take the rest of his feed. Ben Swift, the latest to struggle. Again, this isn't a surprise. The likes of Ben Swift doing very well to stay in this group. You know, as much as these guys aren't necessarily targeting the Tour, it is important to keep them in good condition. So Swift's took all his feed now. Marder's took all his feed. I think Van Baal's the latest one who needs a bit of help. Only one man in the breakaway now. So just take about half of his feed. Remember, after this climb, just check. Straight after this climb, we do get some more feed, so that's good. It seems that the guys are not going for it too much now, so just be good to just take a breather. Try and regain some energy, which is possible here, without necessarily having to take any feed. I think Marder's going to start to struggle. There's no real way of avoiding that. We can just delay it slightly by taking his red gel, but okay, he's doing alright actually. Again, there's not a whole lot we can do. So 8 points available at the top here. So there's only one guy in the breakaway. That's why there are 8 points available. But nobody's setting a really fast pace at the moment. But for 6 of our guys still to be in this group is real achievement, I have to say. I did forget to take feed, admittedly, with Bierge and Lawless, poor guys. But yeah, we'll be okay, I think, with those guys. As long as they don't drop out the time. Barry, yep, they're taking their blue feed, so that's okay. But obviously our main focus is on these guys here. Probably a little bit early to take that feed, but oh well. I think Meduas, Gegenhardt, etc., etc. are going to be okay until the very last few kilometres. And Swift's doing pretty well as well to be up here. He's in one of the best conditions. Obviously, he's had a full feed, so obviously he's going to be in pretty decent nick. I think Marder's going to start to drop back now. That's just inevitable. But if 5 of our guys can survive to the top, I am pretty happy with that. Get them to all take their blue feeds now. I think we'll go for it with Gegenhardt here. Try and get some valuable points at the top. Obviously, we'll get an update at the top of our feed, so we might as well take it all now. I think a few guys are going to start putting a real shift here. Has everyone took their feed? Yep. I don't really think the red gel's going to be too necessary, actually. So, we'll get Meduus to put in some good pace. I think Van Baal's alright as he is. Just tell those guys to persist without limit. And I think Swift, probably the same. He should be okay. No, just persist smoothly till the top. But yeah, I'd like to see Meduus and Gegenhardt get some points here. But obviously Gegenhardt is our main man in the climber standings at the moment. So we're going to try and get something with him. Just check everyone's okay. Yep, only a kilometre to go. Meduus just behind us. This is good. This is good to see. I think we can get Van Baal and Quintana to put in some pace as well here. It's a good opportunity. And we'll see how we go. So about 0.6 to go. Get Meduus to attack. Same as Quintana. Van Baal's going to start to struggle, so I might just step back a little bit with him. Meduus is going to put a shift in. Same as Gegenhardt. Just a race between these guys. See how they get on. Might as well go for it with Gegenhardt. Don't know what's happened to Meduus. Not going to worry about it, though. Gegenhardt gets 8 points. That's going to be big. Good start. And Meduus follows in just behind. 6 points for him. And what about the guys behind? Quintana picks up 2 points. Absolutely fantastic. Great stuff. So, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. We've got another first class climb to come. But at this stage, you know, it's not going too badly. We're going to wait for the next group. No point to exert ourselves too much. But this little peloton we've got is not a bad group to be in. So I'm really happy with this. Our main 4 are still here. Great stuff. So we're now coming on to the final climb. Well, not the final climb, but the final first class climb of the day. We will do this climb again shortly. We'll loop back on ourselves and do this climb again, but it's not going to be as high. We won't go all the way to the top. Now, we've got all of our 4 guys in here. It's a very tricky climb. As I've said before, it's probably just best just to proceed and fast forward just to make sure everyone's okay. But I'll tell you what, it's starting to drop pretty quickly, the energy levels, so we'll have to keep our eye on this. Medua's starting to drop back already, which is a bit of a concern. That's the problem with telling them to persist smoothly. They'll just try and get back onto this group. We don't want to drop back anymore. That's Evan Apoe starting to struggle. That's a shock. Try and get back onto the back of this group. The quicker, the longer that it goes on, the harder it is to get back onto the group. We're going to tell all of our 3 guys just to probably put a bit more pace in because we don't want to drop back. You can see that all of our 3 guys there have dropped back just slightly. But it's okay for the moment. Is it okay? I don't know. Bit of a worry about this, by the way. Bit of a worry. Well, we're going to have to get the gap back to the peloton. We've been guilty of doing this before. We've been guilty of just taking too many liberties before. Our guys are all looking okay at the moment, but we can't lose any time, really. So, I think we're okay. I think we should get onto the back of the peloton now. All of our 4 guys riding in unison. All looking okay for energy. Probably just need to take a bit of feed with Van Baal here. Just to keep him ticking before the top. Make him our main rider now. We're just slightly off this group. Again, it's a bit concerning, but yeah, well, it's one of those things. We've done it before. We've been guilty of doing this before. And now it's really where it gets tough. So, as long as we can get to the top of here okay, we shouldn't really have too much of an issue. They are starting to pull back. Again, you know, we've done it before. We've been guilty of it before. So, this is our own fault. Just for persisting smoothly, just for the first kilometre of the climb. And, well, you know, it's our own fault. This will be some big time we lose here. And we've shot ourselves in the foot. Really have. Okay, well, hopefully we can learn from what's happened here. Try and put a bit of pace in here. But I think that just a minute or so is too much to catch. Unless, I suppose, this group slows down. I can't see it. I can't see us being able to get a minute back. But again, this is a little bit poor, given that we know that this stage is so big for the Tour and that some of the guys in that group aren't going to give us too much of a chance too easily. Okay, we've got a few guys here that are here. I mean, it's a bit silly, actually, to take all of our feed there. But yeah, this is where we are, unfortunately. It's one of those things. We'll consume. Well, we don't actually need to consume any, do we? With Meduas, because we'll come down this slope now. We might catch them before you then. You know, we've only a minute behind. I can't see it, but again, we could have given ourselves a better chance. We've given ourselves harder work to do than perhaps we should have done. But again, this is the situation we're in. You can't change what's happened in the past. Just got to get on with it. Thought it might have been a bit more of a decline here, you know. I think we will get that, but it is a bit awkward here to prioritise all 4 of our men. It's just impossible to do, but not knowing who's going to be the man that has the chance later on in this tour, it's very tricky, but a bit of solace comes here that we are joined with the likes of Kwiatkowski, so, you know, we're not doing too bad, basically, is what I'm saying. We've gained a little bit of time on the leaders. I think we might well gain that time back, you don't know. We might possibly gain that time back. Just ensure minimum tempo in here. No good pushing too much on the declines. But, yeah, I think I'll see you guys in a minute for the final climb. We're in the last 20 kilometres, so I'll see you guys shortly. Well, we're going to lose some big time here, but you know what? Yeah, I mean, this is dreadful, actually, now. This is a real concern. But the only solace I think will come is that there aren't going to be many people who are in that top group come the end. I just think that what happened earlier, again, it's just so frustrating to talk about because it's happened. We can't do anything about it, so we only frustrate ourselves by being here, if you like, and talking about it. So this is where we are. Again, we're just outside the top 30. It's nothing bad at all. I mean, actually, Ben Swift's starting to catch us, so it's not too bad. It's just knowing that we're going to lose a huge chunk of time. So I think that our hopes of winning the Tour de France are over. But being honest, we knew that coming into this stage, and obviously B, did we have any hope of winning it? You know, that's debatable, isn't it? It's certainly a debate. But Uran wins the stage ahead of Roglic, Bernal, Fuglsang again, the 3 favourites really. It's as I just said, it's going to be tough to keep with those guys, but I mean, we finished inside the top 40 here, so there's not going to be too much damage done. It's not a terrible stage. It would have been nice to have been in that main group, but that's the way it is. You know, that's what's happened, and we'll have to see how we go. So it wasn't necessarily the early stages that we suffered on. It was rather the climb that came later on that we struggled on. But we'll ride on board with Gegenhardt to finish the stage off. We'll just attack with all of our guys, try and gain as much time as we can towards the end, and just try and eat back any sort of time that we can. But there we go. It's going to be 29th with Tao Gegenhardt. Not a terrible result at all. Just a little bit disappointed we weren't going to be up the top. But we took some valuable climbing points today. We've survived. Ben Swift's in the same group as us, which is pretty decent. And we'll just have to see how the standings are at the end. We've done what we can. I just think we were caught napping slightly. And we could have affected that by maybe telling our guys to put a bit more pace in at the start of that last first class climb. But as I've said, that's the way it is. And that's how we stand, basically, going into the next few stages. The opportunity was taken by some of the guys who are at the front of the field. But I know I said that this is a big stage, but there will be plenty of big stages to come. So it's not all over necessarily just yet. So, well, I've never seen that jersey before. Education first. There you go. So it's Uran who wins the stage, and inevitably he'll have the yellow jersey. Ewan's got the green jersey, and Chavez has the best climber classification. Not a surprise, really, given he went into the early breakaway, and Egan Bernal takes the white jersey for now. Again, still early days. Not the best result, but I think we can definitely take some positives from that as well.
We had no real ambitions for the classification of this stage. The least that can be said is you didn't prove me wrong.
Well, I'm going to tell him to shut up there, because we didn't do too bad, you know. 29th for Gegenhardt, 39, 40, 41, 42. Again, it's not terrible. We took 10 points with Gegenhardt in the climbing classification, 6 with Maduas. It's a big stage, but it's not the be-all and end-all. There will certainly be chances later on. Gegenhardt actually stays in 29th. Of course, the leader is now Uran, but now second. Again, the space have started to develop. We are 6 minutes behind, but that's just the way it is. I think if we had have pushed, we probably would have struggled anyway. But polka dot jersey, we're third. Points classification, third. Young rider classification, we're fourth. It is not too bad. We're 10th in that team classification. It's not terrible. You know, we can feel a bit dismal and feel sorry for ourselves, but it's not terrible. We've recovered quite well as well from that stage, which is positive. And in Tuesday's episode, we will continue with stage number 3 and stage number 4. They're tougher stages than they actually look, but I think we'll keep tucked in the peloton with stage number 3. We'll probably take one breakaway rider. We'll judge who that is a little bit later, obviously in Tuesday's episode. And then in stage number 4, again, it's another opportunity. But all of these stages in the Tour de France are hard. There's no easy ones, but that was not too bad. It wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't too bad either. But if you enjoyed that, make sure to leave a like down below, comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for regular Tour de France content on a Tuesday, Thursday, and on a Sunday, all at 6 PM. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye for now.